It's going to be a quick one today because I was up at 2 a.m. and I wanted to get the sheet working, and finally we got important data, so that's great. And so if you've got any queries about this, just let me know. But basically, the sentiment is based on SSI, so it tells us how many retail traders are, how they're positioned on indices. So if it's a negative number, they're short. Um, I'm not sure why it's done that, and perhaps it's got a query. So if you have a query about this might help you, Barry. Okay. So if it's negative, it tells us that the herd are short. Okay. If they're positive, then that long. All right. So we don't want them to be long because there has to be someone to counter that trade. If they're selling, that's fine because a bank and institutions will have to buy. It has to be someone to take the other side of that exchange. Okay. So this is why it's important, and so that's fine. They're bearish. That's normal. They've added to their bearish bets, and our technical risk calc's fully improved. So we started 45 yesterday. We're actually 93. I was saying in Discord, what we want to do is wait for this technical risk calc to drop, look for buys, and then when it gets really, really high, de-risk, take profit, and then repeat that process. So you're only looking for buys, okay, on indices. Uh, if things are falling, you just have to be patient until it comes to support, and then you're looking to buy, okay? And it's using that calculation here where it's measuring against all of these risky instruments. Obviously, the dollar index is down, so it's got a good score. I've got some individual companies, so that might help a little bit, and the indices are up, not only on the day, but on the last 5 days, so we've got good scores. Okay, VIX is down. That's perfect, and that's that. QDB scores quickly, and to see lots of green up here, so that's fine. We should be seeing a little bit more red down here. Now, the only thing is you want to be really careful with extremes, because if we're at 100% long, there's not going to be anyone left on the other side, and it's unhealthy. It's not an unnatural state of affairs. So we've got to be really careful when we get to extremes. You think about the analogy of a train. It picks up passengers on its way to its destination. When it gets to its final destination, it has to reverse. Now, CAD Swiss is possibly going to reverse because there's no one else left to squeeze. The train's done its journey. It needs to make a return journey, okay? And this is why you want to be looking at your stop loss clusters if you can, and then relying on some of your technicals as well. The stop loss, the SLCs are very powerful because they'll tell us liquidity, and if we could have visibility on the CAD Swiss, we will see that there's not much left to probe. And likewise, the dollar Swiss is probably absorbed so much liquidity on its destination, it might be time for reversal. Okay, you've got to be really, really careful. Euro USD, 98% short, right? So that's a bit crazy, and so you just have to be, like I say, very careful. So we should be seeing greens up here. We should be seeing reds down here. All right. Let's show you indices. And so gold, I thought we were going to have like a wedge break and then down to the SLC and for a pump, but we had an immediate pump after the CPI. So I was wrong in that. I knew we were going to come up higher because we could just look at the sentiment. But I was initially wrong. I thought we were going to come down, then boom, but we just went boom. Okay, and be careful here because we're possibly going to make a risky sell up here. So this is going to be a resistance at 1962, at 1956, but we can't draw a box yet because we haven't had the crossover. Okay, gold's DAX and sideways. We might get the sell, but well done to you if you called it. They have been selling it quite heavily, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Up we come. This is going to be some resistance up here, some technical resistance, but we are a little bit sideways, but possibly going to have a sell incoming there. So you want to be getting a copy of the trading station if you can, and there we go, made a sell, but we're above, so it's slightly naughty in so much that these guys went long ever so slightly, and price is just above where they went long. So we should be below 4481, and if we do fall, they'll be quick to sell it, and then we'll be a buy, right? So we should be below these two lines because that's the punishment zone, okay? But it might just ignore the sentiment potentially. But yeah, I have to wait and see for that one. We'll just report back tomorrow. And if you've got a copy of the trade station, you can actually watch it materialize. It's actually quite fascinating, and you can spend a day studying the sentiment as well. It's really helpful. So they made a sell, so we should be below these two lines. But like I say, it could just be ignoring it, maybe. But we should be below, 3, 4, 3, 7, 8, because they've gone long ever so slightly. But they might sell it, in an hour's time. They'll probably think, well, perhaps we can sell it. This is like quite a bearish candle. They might be looking to sell the stop here. Perhaps they'll move their stop there. You don't know what they could do. It's very hard to predict what they're going to do. But they're normally conditioned to sell because they're very fearful, and they'll read the news events, and then they're really trying to push Russia and India, and now publicly supporting Russia, and now they're trying to make India the bad guys, which is ridiculous. So they're really trying to push some kind of narrative onto our collective mindset. But as long as you realise that it's a lot of it's mind-numbing rubbish that you see on the media. As long as you're aware of what they're trying to do, then you can be free of that. But they're trying to put some fear tactics into the hive mind, and by doing so, they'll sell it. Okay, and then I'll become. So the robot is open some trades, and we are currently looking at. Yeah, this one. So we're currently looking at NJ sell, Aussie CAD buy, and pound Swiss sell. I think we shouldn't have had those, but we had some issue with the sheet, and so these might have just been like an error. I'm not sure, because really they should have only triggered had the failure rate been very high. Now the failure rate would have been 0. So I think these just slipped through. So, but we did have an issue with the API. And so we just have to see how we go. But I don't think these should have triggered because our failure rate is actually not that high. Unless I'm mistaken. Oh, maybe. Well, by the time they triggered, we wouldn't have been at 70%. But that is the condition to open trades. This tells us that the herd are getting punished at 70%, likelihood. So that's a condition for entry. But we shouldn't perhaps open these. Yeah, we wouldn't have been that high, but unless, of course, we did pop higher, that might have popped higher. I'm not sure, because I was obviously asleep. So perhaps they are okay. But normally they're quite low about this time. Normally what happens is that it's quite low, and it entices people into a trap, and then it pumps, and then they get caught. So we can see the dollar here. That's got a perfect score, 7 out of 7 score. So they've gone long dollar. It really fell. They've gone long CAD. It really fell, and they shorted the Swiss, and it's rallied quite a bit, and pound's behaving quite well, apart from the pound Kiwi. But you can see how you can use it, and that's it. So, like I said, I got up at 2 o'clock. I didn't have a very good sleep, so I'm going to be taking it easy today, and I wish you a good day. Don't forget, you have to read your risk disclaimer. It's really important. Please familiarize yourself with this 5 steps, and this is the most important thing. I can't be counseling people if they blow their accounts. It's you obviously didn't stick to your plan. You totally overtraded. And did you do your own due diligence? Did you rely solely on something that you saw? Did you do your research? So probably not, and that's why you lost money. So definitely, familiarize yourself with these 5 steps. Maybe write it down on a bit of paper and then paste it on your monitor if you've got not poor discipline. But these are the key steps that you must do, and that's the key one there. So I'll speak to you guys later today, and I'll be back for the bulletin tomorrow. So have a good day. Remember to trade safely.